All right, welcome everyone. Jennifer Elliott, welcome to Therapeutics. It'll be a little combination of dynamic movements today, a little bit yoga therapy, and some gentle yoga. We won't stand up, it'll be pretty chill. And you're going to want a bolster, 1 to 2 blankets, 1 to 2 blocks. And I don't believe I'll use a strap, but sometimes it's nice to have things nearby. And I'm setting up the first two poses very similar to things I might do in a yin class. I won't set a timer. I'm not going to be there for a specific amount of time, but they'll be kind of similar poses. So what I've done is I'm setting up for a reclined butterfly at first. And I've got a bolster here. I like 1 block. Some people might like 2 blocks to give it a little raise. Since I have both blankets, I have one underneath me. If you only had one, you could skip this one underneath because I want to do the one on top. So I have it kind of set up here and I'm going to roll it up on the long end. And this is going to go around my feet. So I'm sitting near the bolster, soles of the feet together in butterfly. And then I've got this blanket on top of my feet and I can tuck it under the calves. And this just is nice for the knees and the lie back. And of course, make this comfortable for you. So you might decide you want that second blanket under your head like a pillow, maybe blocks under the knees. Great, or any other configuration. And again, we're doing some shoulder work today, a little bit of low back work. So turn the palms up if that's okay for you, and you can explore maybe the hands are a little closer to the body. They might move slightly away. You can see what's comfortable in the upper body and the shoulders. And then once you've found it, start to soften the eyes, the forehead, unhinge the jaw, relax the shoulders, the spine, the pelvis. And the breath is comfortable in and out through the nose. And as you start to take your breaths, let them be a little lower. Let the belly move so the belly is expanding and relaxing. Really, this is just getting us into the diaphragm so the belly rises and falls. And then maybe as you allow the belly to lift, you start to expand in the side ribs as well. And the exhale, relax. Inhale, belly. Maybe side ribs. Some of you have enough left to lift the heart. And exhale, relax. One more 3-part breath together. Inhale, belly. Side ribs, heart. And exhale, relax. The breath come to its own pattern. Take a few more cycles of breath here. As you're breathing, you might explore letting the arms go wider, maybe even floating up a little bit. So you're kind of getting a good stretch on the front body, but being mindful of how you feel. And then take the arms and wrap them around the chest and give yourself a nice hug just wherever those arms land. You can stay there. If your fingertips went deep enough that you found the inner borders of the shoulder blades, you can just gently massage them away from the spine. And send your breath into the back ribs. Notice which arm is on top as we're going to switch it. Open the arms out wide. And then when you're ready, cross the other arm on top. Give yourself a nice hug. If the fingertips naturally go underneath the shoulder blades, you can gently peel them away from the spine. And we take those nice big breaths into the back of the chest. And then let the arms relax. You might take the hands to the knees and help to physically guide your knees together. Roll to the side. I'm rolling to the left because that's where you are. And I'm going to press myself up. So I'm going to keep my props. I'm going to move into a deer twist. I'm just going to move this blanket roll away. And for me, I'm on my left side and I've got my legs in deer. Now, you could always stack the legs. You could always straighten the bottom leg. So you can kind of have some room to play here. But once you find your legs, turn slowly to face the back of your mat. You can keep this bolster on the ramp or release that prop underneath. Turn your chest slowly, lift your heart, and then settle yourself down onto the bolster and either ear down. Yeah, so turn, Connie, so that your side hip is against the bolster. So I'll show you again. So my back was against the bolster. And then you turn to the side. Yep, there you go. So your hip is against the bolster and then you turn to face the back and then slowly set yourself down. Yeah. Arms are comfortable, so just wherever they want to be, either ear down, so whatever's comfortable in the neck. And you can either keep the legs staggered or you can stack them together. Great, and you just breathe into the back body. So these legs are called deer. We call that deer for yin. And we just do this gentle twist on the spine. And breathe into the back body. Really letting the breath be our mover. You can slide the hands back, press into the palms to lift yourself up. And then as you turn back forward, you just kind of windshield wiper the legs. As you turn away from the bolster, the legs just teeter over to the other side. If you're in the same side I am, the right hip is against the bolster, the legs staggered. Then you slowly turn your chest to the back of the mat and set yourself down, either ear down, whatever's the most comfortable. And you can stack or stagger the legs. I don't think anyone straightened the bottom leg, but that's always an option. Great, looking nice. We're just breathing into the back ribs. So we're not here long, maybe 4 or 5 good breaths. And then we'll slide the hands back. Rest yourself up, turn again away from the bolster. And then we can come off of this setup. So I'm going to move my bolster out of my way. You can just move it to the front of my mat. I might have a block nearby. For now, I'm going to keep my blanket under my knees. That feels nice, but we're just in a nice table pose for cat cow. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then take an inhale and pull the chest through, and exhale, round the spine. Just do that a couple of times, linking breath and movement. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine. Do one more. And then we can bring our big toes to touch. We're going to press back into child's pose. Now you might just shift right back. Let's say you've got anything happening in the knees. We've got this roll that we can put in the knee crease. And then you can shift back. And sometimes that's helpful in the knees or in the ankles. Those arms are reaching in front. And then we'll gaze up and walk the hands to the right. So you're kind of in a nice angle to the side. Great. And fold in. And you can either stay exactly as you are, or this outside hand, the right arm, you might bend the elbow and put the hand underneath that left arm. You're just kind of resting your forehead on your forearm. So again, you can keep both arms straight, or bend the right arm and rest your forehead on your forearm. Continue the breath into the side waist, into the back body. And then go ahead and gaze up. Walk the hands through the center and over to the right. And both hands can reach off to the side, or you can bend the left elbow and rest the forehead on the forearm. Gaze up. Walk the hands forward and come up to hands and knees. If you had this roll in the back ankles, you can kind of move it back out of your way. And as we come to hands and knees, we're just very gently going to lower ourselves down onto the belly. So whatever's kind of comfortable for you. And when you get onto your belly, let's take our hands and bring them off of the mat. So come onto the fingertips. And your fingertips are going to be kind of in this little cupcake hands. Your elbows are right over your wrists. So instead of your hands being under your shoulders, take them completely off of your mat. So your hands are under your elbows at kind of this 90 degrees. Yeah, you got it. Press the feet down, scoop the belly in, and then push into the fingertips just a little bit as you lift the heart. Just a little intimidating cobra, really small. And then lower it down. Again, inhale, lift the heart, intimidating cobra, and release. One more, inhale, lift, and lower. And then bring your forearms onto the ground. If coming all the way up into the forearms for Sphinx, elbows under shoulders is extreme, take the elbows wider or back. We'll just take a few breaths here. We can be active in the legs, so push the tops of the feet down so the shins lift. Then direct the pubic bone to the belly button so the lower belly lifts in. Draw the chest forward, so we're lengthening the spine. Just gaze anywhere the neck is comfortable. Anytime we hold a pose, I'm usually there about 4 or 5 breaths. And so when you get into that pose, you can start your breath count. All right. I'm going to take my right knee and bend it and slide it up like a half frog. All right. So I'm doing this to move into a twist. If you get confused in the twist, it's just a twist. So I'm straightening my right arm so I can weave my left arm underneath. And as I go to lay down, I'm going to roll my right arm back. I'm going to let that right hip roll over any amount that I want. And I'm going to find a twist. Now you can decide, do you want more of the knee down, more of the shoulder down? You've got props if you want to put a block under the knee or something under the shoulder. If the shoulder is really bothering, you can put hand on the hip. You can find your way all the way into the back and then come into your twist. Okay, so there's a lot of options. Now, once you find your twist again, we're sticking with about those 5 breaths. Let the neck be comfortable. So if you need a different direction to gaze, look in a different way. And then I'm slowly going to roll back onto my belly. As long as that was okay of a transition for you, we'll do the other side. So I'm going to roll slowly onto the belly, taking my time, nothing fast. And then if that transition worked, I'm going to slide the left knee up like a half frog, the left arm forward, the right arm underneath. And then I'll roll onto that left side, left arm back. I ended up kind of using a prop under the knee. I saw a few of you do the same. And set myself up in a way that the shoulder was comfortable. All right, when in doubt, just find a twist. And we'll explore those 4 or 5 breaths again. Right, and at the end of this breath, we're slowly going to roll onto our back. So you're almost all the way there. Just let yourself roll all the way over. And as you come to your back, you're kind of off your mat. So scooch over, most likely to the right, and kind of find your spot. For me, my blanket is in the way. So I'm kind of lifting my hips like bridge to set the hips down and just slide this blanket out from underneath me. Again, you could keep it or move it. I just felt like it wasn't giving me the traction that I wanted. Okay, from here, your knees are bent. Take your hands onto your lower belly. And at the very beginning, I talked about kind of breathing into the lower belly. So take an inhale and feel the hands lift with the breath. And then exhale slowly and try to pull your navel all the way down to the mat. And if you really do that well, you'll feel just an ever so slight tilt of the tailbone. It doesn't really lift, but you feel it kind of rise gently. And then relax as you inhale into the belly again. And exhale, the belly drives down. As you try to stamp your low back into the mat, a tiny little tilt of the pelvis. And release and relax. And again, exhale. Press that low back all the way down, tiny little tilt up. Now leave that little bit of a tilt and then take an inhale from there. And exhale, drive the belly button down. So more of that low back feels like it's anchoring. Maybe a tiny bit more of the tailbone feels like it's lifting. Keep it there. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, drive the belly button down. And maybe you feel a little bit higher of the low back and pelvis kind of anchoring as you lift the seat. And the seat is only up maybe a half an inch, an inch. And then release everything and take a regular breath. Great. Find your block and put it in your palms. So if you're holding the short sides kind of above your chest, your elbows are bent kind of in these robot arms. And you can feel your arms pressing up into the, pressing down into the mat, right? So the upper shoulders root down, the back of the arms root down. You just very gently hold the block. You're looking at the ceiling. Take an inhale into the low belly again. And exhale, drive the belly button down. And maybe the tailbone tilts up a little bit. Leave it where it is. Take an inhale. And exhale, drive the belly down. Maybe you tilt up a little bit, but can you engage the lower abdominals and not the glutes so much? Again, inhale. And exhale, maybe tilt the tailbone up. It's not going to get that high. That's fine. And then slowly paint the spine down. Rest the block down. And very gently rock your head side to side, ear to ear. Take the block straight up. If it's a heavy block, just have the palms face one another. My block is okay, so it's not so heavy, so this feels okay for me. I'm going to draw the shoulder blades down. I'm going to keep the rest of the body as it is. And I'm just going to slowly begin to reach that block back or the hands back if the block is heavy. At some point, you're going to notice that the shoulder blades are lifting. And so imprint the upper back down. You're going to feel the tailbone kind of tilt up a little bit and then bring the block back up. All right, so send the arms back with or without the block. Imprint the upper back down. So you're pulling the front ribs in. It's naturally going to tilt the tailbone up slightly as you engage the abdominals and bring the arms back up. All right, one more. As you reach back, you feel the front ribs engage, feel the pubic bone pulling in. The back is imprinting into the mat. And then let's bring the block all the way up and rest it down. Okay, set it off to the side. Take the arms by your sides and then inhale. We're going to lift the hips a little higher if you'd like towards bridge. Raise the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, arms down, paint the spine down. Great, and then just follow the path of the breath. Inhale, arms and hips rise, engaging the lower abdominals. Those hips can go higher like bridge, that's up to you. And exhale, paint the spine down, lower the hands down. Do a few more on your own, just really slowing it down, feeling the different parts. Keeping that head neutral so you're not looking left and right. Less is more, so it doesn't matter if those hands get to the floor. It doesn't matter if the hips lift all the way. And we've got one more. And see if this one you can really pull the navel in, engage that lowest part of the abdominals, and then paint your spine all the way down. Take a moment, rest your hands on your belly or your chest, and just enjoy a few breaths. And you can reach for either that same block or you've got the bolster off to the side if you prefer. You're going to lift your hips up into bridge and you can put that block or bolster underneath you. If it's okay for you, we're going to lift the feet off the ground and take the feet to the ceiling. If that's not okay for you, stay in the supported bridge or just enjoy a constructive rest. Feet on the ground, knees bent if you prefer. And we'll breathe. About 5 breaths. Let's take a few more. As long as that's okay, you're not too dizzy or have pressure towards the face. Bending your knees, very gently set them down onto the floor. You're still in this supported bridge as long as that's okay for you. You can lift or lower the height of the prop depending on what it is. But we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, figure four. So kind of like thread the needle, but we're not going to pull the leg in. We just cross ankle over knee, and then we kind of let the hip open as it feels comfortable. And obviously, if you're higher or lower on that prop, that's going to change the experience. And then we just breathe. If for any reason the low back bothers, you can do the same pose without the prop underneath. We'll go ahead and set the right foot down or that first side down, and the other ankle, left ankle, right knee, let the hip open. Couple of breaths here. Set that foot down. So you're in this supported bridge, or you've made changes if the back isn't happy. We're going to pull the right knee into the chest. You can hold onto it, and then you can stay here in the supported bridge with the left knee bent, or you can let it straighten out. And for me, I'm on kind of the flattest side of the block. Bolsters are comfortable. If that left leg is out, you can leave it on the floor or slightly hover it above the floor. One of the things that we do to release the low back is stretch our hip flexors. We sit a lot. If we're in fight, flight, or freeze, the hip flexor tightens, and that just puts that strain in the lower back. Couple more breaths. And set that foot down gently and pull the left knee in, second side. And again, you can stay here kind of in this half bridge or that other leg straightens out. Enjoy the breath here. As you bend the right knee again, set the feet onto the floor. Kind of like that pelvic tilt, slowly peel your hips up off of the prop. You can feel the lower abdominals engaging as you lift. Find that prop, slide it out, and then one vertebrae at a time, paint the spine down until the hips land. Leave the hips on the floor, resist the urge to pull them in, and instead knock the knees together for a constructive rest. You may feel a little coolness or warmth at the low back if you get some good circulation. And I had said I wasn't sure if we would need the strap or not, but we're going to, so hopefully it was close where you don't have to get up too much to reach for it. And then you're going to pull the right knee in and take that strap over the right foot. You can just give yourself a nice stretch. If the strap is not nearby, or you don't have one, you could just fold the back of your leg. We can keep the left knee bent if you want. That feels nice on the back. And you can hold the strap, or my strap already has a loop in it, so I'm going to slide it over the elbows, and I can bring my hands into prayer. It just makes it so I don't have to actually hold the strap, which I find quite nice when my hands are feeling arthritic. And we just find a comfortable hamstring stretch, another way that we can release that lower back. It's okay for you. Begin to straighten the left leg out on the floor. If not, keep the knee bent. And press through the heel and draw the pubic bone to the navel so that the lower back is engaged. Or really, it's the abdominals that are engaged, and the lower back feels a bit more anchored. Take your straps into your left hand and just take your right leg and rotate the toes in. So right now the toes are facing behind you. Just let them rotate a little left, like they were trying to point at your left shoulder. And that might be plenty. Or take the foot maybe an inch over the center line, so to the left, or another inch. Right, so we're starting to feel that outer IT band. I've slid my arm down so my left elbow is on the ground. That's just comfortable for me. Maybe another inch. You take that leg over. And then yogi's choice. You can remain here kind of at this nice diagonal where the pelvis is flat. You're kind of just stretching the outer IT band. Or you can let this top leg roll all the way over so that the hips stack. And you roll over onto that left pinky toe. And you kind of go all the way across. So it's just really up to you which one feels best in your body. And we take a few breaths. Bring the right leg up. Slip the strap off, slowly set it down, and just take a moment in a mini shavasana. So close the eyes, hands can rest on belly or sides, and just feel any difference between the sides. Is one side longer, more free? Is the other side more short, cool, rigid? And then bend the knees, put the feet on the floor. Stamp the lower back into the mat, little pelvic tilt, and then pull the left knee in and slide that strap over the foot. Then you can stay here, holding the strap or looping it over the elbows. You know what's comfortable for you. And if it's okay for you, begin that journey to slowly straighten the right leg out on the floor. If it's not already there, you can kind of press through the heel, pubic bone to the navel to just consciously bring the lower back closer to the floor. The deepest layer of the pelvis is engaged. Straps into the right hand. Just turn your left foot ever so slightly to the right. And maybe that's it, or cross it about an inch to the right. Maybe another inch. So everything is just real slow. We're checking in. Maybe another inch. You can stay here if you're finding that this outer leg stretch is for you. Both hips are on the ground. Or let that left hip fully roll up. Cross the leg over if you choose. We'll take a few breaths. Notice if there's any tension in the face and the jaw. If you can let that go, maybe take a yawn. Release any tension that the shoulders have. And then go ahead and bring the leg up. Lower it down just for a mini shavasana, just to do a comparison, right? We always want to check in after we do anything, see, was that right for us personally? I feel a little bit more space, you might as well. And then you can bend your knees and send your arms overhead and roll to the side to press up. As you come all the way up to seated, we're going to take our bolster to have a seat on it. And we want our two blankets. So I'm going to sit on my bolster. I'm going to take one blanket underneath me. You can kind of decide on these how you want to do them. I like the padding for me. And then I'm going to use this roll since I already have it. Why not? So I'm sitting comfortably on the bolster. I'm crossing not necessarily at the ankles, but kind of more mid-shin. So kind of like a sukhasana. And then once I've got this, I can take this roll and I'm going to put it in front of the shins again and kind of tuck it under the knees. And it just creates a nice place for the knees. And of course, this can change. If you'd rather sit in a chair or something else feels more comfortable, then just make your seat somewhere comfortable. Okay, great. From where you are, turn your palms up as if you're holding a platter. So they're going to lift up off of your thighs. We call this the newspaper. So back into the shoulders. Let's go ahead and bring our newspaper up. So we're looking at the newspaper as if it's right in front of us. So Amanda, yeah, bring your arms all the way up. Perfect. And then open up the newspaper. So it's as if you're broadening through the chest. And then bring the arms back. And then as you set the newspaper down, elbows in and kind of draw them back. Yep. Inhale, lift up the newspaper and open it. And exhale, close it and bring it back. And when you bring it back, you're really pressing those triceps back, just like when you pressed your triceps into the floor and bridge. Inhale up and open. Exhale, close and retract. Just do a couple more of those on your own. All right. And then when you bring your arms back, you're going to leave them kind of hovering here, just comfortable. Lift your chest on an inhale and a twist. Exhale, you're going to pull the navel to the spine again. Just turn your torso to the right. So don't worry how far you get. Inhale tall. Exhale the belly in. Continue to twist to the right by pulling the belly in. Inhale tall. One more. Exhale, revolve. And when you get here, just take your left hand, put it on your knee, your right hand on the bolster, pull the navel in and let the breath be the mover. So nothing is forced. Right now, my chin is kind of square over my chest, so looking kind of diagonally. My belly button is pulling in, so I feel supported. And then I'm going to look over the back shoulder. And then I'm going to look over the front shoulder. And then I'm going to unwind the torso. Okay, palms up, inhale tall. Exhale the navel in, revolve left, go slow. Inhale, the spine lengthens. Exhale, the belly button draws in, and we just gently revolve. One more. So the breath is our mover. And then we can place the right hand on the left knee, the left hand on the bolster, or just kind of comfortable. I'm looking a bit more diagonally. In my case, it's over that left knee. Yeah, so nothing is strained in the neck. And keep pulling the navel in so you feel just really supported. We'll take our gaze over the back shoulder comfortably. Over the front shoulder comfortably. We slowly unwind. Great. Choose to stay where you are or switch so that the other shin is in front. So if you're happy where you are, great. If you feel like you could do the other side comfortably, switch it out. Right. We're going to do what's called mirror on hand. So it's really good work for the neck. So we're going to take our right hand up in front of us as if we have a mirror on the hand and we're going to look at it. Yep, so right in front of your face. Now take your right arm out to the right, but follow it. Let your head go with you as you look to the side, just looking at that mirror. And then bring it back in front of you. And then take the hand and put it on your left shoulder and look down to it. All right, so bring that hand right in front of you again, look at it. Take it all the way to the right. The head and the shoulders will go with you. Across the body, all the way down to your left shoulder. Fully look at the left shoulder. Great, and then just continue this on your own. So we're just finding really nice movement in the torso, the neck, and see where any of those tricky spots might be. One more. And then come to center, release. And then take the other hand up when you're ready, left hand right in front of your face. And we're going to look left, letting ourselves follow that mirror on the hand and come across the body, all the way down to the right shoulder. Again, right up in front of us, looking all the way left. And all the way right to the shoulder. Yeah. Keep moving on your own, just going slow. And you'll feel that as we turn one direction, we're stretching one side of the neck, strengthening the other. And the same thing when we go to the other side. So it's just very controlled yoga therapy for the neck. One more. And set the hand down. All right, really nice. Let's relax right ear to right shoulder. Keep the spine long so wherever the ear goes, like mine's not going to be that close, it's fine. And just breathe into that side of the neck. Find any experience. Very slowly the head to center. And left ear, left shoulder, or your second side. Again, I have a lot of arthritis in my neck, so my neck doesn't move much. So think less about how far and just kind of to your end range. And then very slowly come up. And then we're just going to look right and left very gently for the neck, nothing intense. We want to build a little isometric work for the neck. So take one hand on the head. So I'm doing my left hand, or to look left to you. And I'm putting my hand on the side of the head, like on the temple. Right? So put your hand like right next to your eye. Yeah, right at your temple. And your hand and your head are going to push into each other. Just a little bit of pressure for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Put the other hand on the temple. And again, you're pushing, you're resisting into one another. Nothing's moving for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your hand on your head, top of your head, like there's books on your head. Keep your chin level and try to push up into your hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your hand on the side of the temple again. Now, instead of, and this is the last one on this, instead of pushing into one another, your hand is going to push into the temple, but you're going to imagine you're going to try to rotate your head into the hand. That's not going to go anywhere, right? But that's kind of your thought for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the other hand on the temple and imagine you want to turn into it, but don't let yourself for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center, just release the hands a moment. Really nice. I'm gonna take one last little pose here. I'm gonna take my blanket out from underneath me because I'm gonna sit on it. The bolster is just a little high, I find. So I'm gonna sit on my blanket and fold it up. And I'm going to take this roll since I have it, and I'm going to straighten one leg out, and I just have the roll kind of nicely under the knee. The other leg is going to be in butterfly, so I'm kind of moving into this janu. And then I have this roll that's really long, so the other end, if I want, can be over or under that knee. I've got my blocks that I can put next to my leg. And then I'm going to lift up for janu, shirsasana, get some length, turn a little bit towards that front leg. And then I'm going to fold in. I could reach for the foot, but I don't really care about that. I have my blocks high and I can either put my elbows down and kind of support my head, which is nice on the neck. Or I could cross those forearms like I did in child's pose and rest my forehead down. Or if this bothers the back, I could go back onto my back with the strap. With that leg up. Yeah, great. So any version here that you want, just think of how you can relax the neck, how you can breathe into the spine. Great. Now come out and switch sides. So the knee that was bent, straighten it, vice versa. And the other side, we get long, we rotate a little bit to the front leg and we reach. You could hold the leg, again, not important. A lot of times we look up and we crick the neck. So maybe look down, support the head in some way. Lots of ways to do it. Just explore for you. Go ahead and slowly come out. And we'll take one finishing forward fold before we move into our supported shavasana. So I'm going to give you a couple options you can decide. If the forward fold is okay, you can put this blanket, rolled blanket, or bolster under the legs, kind of fold forward. Or you could take a child's pose or a down dog. Or I like a lot of times dangling. I stand up, the feet are hip width or wide, or the knees are bent, and I kind of ragdoll hang over. So the reason I like this one is it also kind of helps me release my neck, but you choose for you. So whatever kind of forward fold feels nice in your back, and your neck, and your shoulders. Slowly come out of your pose. And we'll set up for shavasana. So one option, since we did a lot with the back and the neck, is to really get the back supported. So I'm putting my blocks, I like tall. You could also have them on medium, but I like tall. And then I'm going to put my bolster on top of that. This could also be a chair. If you don't have a bolster, you can slide your legs up on a chair. But I'm going to slide my legs up onto this bolster. My knees are bent, which is nice for the back. I refolded my blanket to put over my belly as a nice weight. If I wanted this other blanket under my head, or sometimes it's nice to kind of tent it over the eyes, right? So you feel really tucked in. So choose that shavasana for you, or something that makes you feel just really supported after your practice. Release the jaw, the eyes, shoulders, the low back. Let the breath be expansive. And just let everything rest. Bring the body into the breath. So you feel ready to move, you might reach the arms overhead. You can always bring in a yawn again to release the nervous system, the neck. Bend your knees. Make your way onto your right side. And slowly press upright to your final seat. Hands to your heart in gratitude for all the time and effort you've put into you. We lift the chest. We bow the head. Namaste. Thanks, yogis. I hope you have a great day. I'll stay on if you want to chat. Otherwise, I will see you soon.